Hi everyone, Fervid here, and welcome back to Reverse 1999 for a new event that just came out. Unfortunately, while I was trying to catch up with Chapter 8, and unfortunately, since there's a new event that came out a couple of days ago, which means my efforts for getting White Rum for free has, well, all for naught. So, unfortunately, she's going to be in somewhere in the summons. Now, just before I will show you, I will be drawing the new character and see if I can get her, or I may or may not. So, I hope you guys enjoy the video as well, and I believe the first new character of the new event is Willow. And of course, the theme of the event is going to be about the Uluru games, I think. So, I got enough for 50 pulls, and I really do like the character, and I believe she is known to be, I guess, I'll just let the trailer show you. But first, let me see if I can get her in one session. Wait, is it really her? Is it really her? Did I just get her in one pull? Yes!
So you all live in a suitcase, eh? Of course, I understand that the Foundation has more urgent needs than finding a proper place to house their employees.
Oh my god. Now I don't know if I should keep pulling her or should I wait for the new character. But that's gonna have to wait. I'll show you.
The Fog Walker has requested the Foundation's assistance. Due to a mysterious change in the smog, they've been experiencing extraordinary rates of tuberculosis. We need someone experienced in medicine to go to London and investigate.
Miss Tooth Fairy, I'm Brimley, the ranger colleague of Arthur Fogg. There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye.
What the hell's that?
Miss! Watch your head!
Oh.
Are you here for the Uluru games?
Hey.
Here in Cross Street, we're all celebrating the upcoming Uluru Qualifiers. I'm Flutterpage. I wake everyone up in the morning. The most amazing witch lives here
That's
too.
my girl.
These snails are for her to eat.
What?
Is she French?
Why? You've seen her in France? I've never even seen her leave the house.
It's all because of her, that fog hag. She's the one who created the black fog. She's cast us.
To protect the health of all involved, the London Uluru Qualifiers have been cancelled.
Aw.
Why should I care? I'm no athlete. I've only got one leg. Just like I've nothing to do with the Uluru Games.
The qualifiers would have held the floor ritual.
She was a once-in-a-generation floor ritualist.
We'll just have to hold our own games.
Have you forgotten about the challenge, Charlotte O'Hagan?
I don't care what anyone thinks.
Well, that's something. I believe this takes place in London. I truly believe. And we have already gotten our new character named Willow. And I believe this was a 4-star character. I believe, or was it a 5-star character? You know, purple-colored ones. And this guy is a ranger. He is literally a toy horse, wielding a, I guess, rifle. And I believe her name was Flutterfly, I believe. And also, I do believe there is another, little thing here called Puppet Arena. Which, I'm not sure what the hell it is, but I'm gonna have to find out some other time. And I believe Shadow of the Sun is Willow's story. And, yes, I think I'd rather just do the event story. And, of course, a new permanent mode called the Reveries in the Rain, which means basically I go one round in, I guess, one round to go deep underwater. And to get these things, I'm not sure what they are, but you can only find them in this place. And another event here into limbo, which it's just another excuse to go into the deep slumber to get more of these drops. So, another Uluru games here. Right. So, a mysterious smog just comes in, thickens, and pretty much infecting people with tuberculosis. Who takes the blame? Maybe. So let's go ahead and enter for now. And I may narrate or may not narrate, but first day back in London. And I do believe thankfully I got Tooth Fairy in my team as well. Yeah, and this is only like low level story here, and I'm not sure what this is, but I think it's just something you get from the event store. So it is probably Tooth Fairy's, I guess, coming home, I guess, but who knows. It's a really nice shot, by the way. Black and white.
I'm ready to go.
Please fasten your seatbelt, miss. We're setting off now.
It's so nice to see Tooth Fairy
You
again.
ever been to London, miss?
Yes, a long time ago.
Long, eh? 5 years? 10 years?
Longer than that.
Come on, Van. How long? You don't look 100 years old. The hospital is 2 streets away. Oh, by the way, it's been arranged for you to meet Mr. Fogg first, and then he'll show you around the hospital.
I don't see why we need to make a big deal out of a simple visit.
Couldn't agree more, miss. But as this is an official visit by Mr. Fogg, as a servant of the Crown, you can rightly expect that they're going to have the whole place decked out like Christmas.
Thank you for taking me there directly. I will go to Mr. Fogg's office after my visit. You can leave without me. I think I'd like to take the underground.
The tube? You won't like it, miss. Not the kind of place for a decent young lady. I'll wait here for you, love. I'll do my best not to crack into my flask of whiskey while I wait.
Thank you. I'll be back soon.
I'm just waiting to narrate this. What the hell? What the fuck? What? Flyers. I was going to sleep after a few minutes here, but that made me awake.
How are things at SPDM, Tooth Fairy? I'm hearing rave reviews about their school physician.
I'm glad to hear it. Young children are particularly easy to soothe. A few candies and they behave just fine. A little toffee or a nibble of a fruity sweet, and they've forgotten all about the Tooth Fairy's taste.
I forgot that most of her treatments involve people eating her tooth fairies.
A proper dose of sweets serves to calm the nervous system, and that doesn't just apply to kids.
There I am. She pulls a piece of milk candy out of her pocket and softly places it beside Madame C's mug of strong tea.
Your work here is undoubtedly busier than mine at SPDM. Besides, you're directly responsible for our timekeeper, the little troublemaker. But I am sure you didn't summon me here all for a little chit-chat.
Madame C unwraps the candy and places it in her mouth, allowing it to slowly dissolve, then places a stack of papers on the table before Tooth Fairy.
The Foundation has now confirmed the correlation between social turmoil and the emergence of the storm. Our branches around the world are now making efforts to collect information on these key social movements. As you may know, there was a strike that has only just ended in London. And there is something I'd like to show you, besides the strike itself.
Tooth Fairy rapidly flips through the papers. She quickly spots the crucial element.
Tuberculosis.
Right.
Indeed, there appears to be abnormalities concerning air pollution and reported cases of TB. Compared to our records before the storm, TB morbidity rates are extraordinarily high, approaching levels that shouldn't be seen until the Great Smog of 1952. Our Mr. Fogg, the fog walker, has also reported that there is something unusual about the composition of the fog.
So, we need an insider with knowledge of the storm to visit London. Ideally one with a medical background.
Ideally, Miss Tooth Fairy.
I see.
She sure knows. I like her mug, really.
I know, your winter vacation just started. But I'm sure you understand the dire situation we find ourselves in. I'll apply for a special allowance for this field mission. What do you say?
I'd be happy to go. Perhaps I'll collect some rare teeth from this era.
Good luck then. Mr. Fogg will contact you when you arrive. He is our liaison between the Foundation and the British government. He'll take you to the hospital, handling many of these respiratory patients. You will be given full trust to resolve this problem. There is something else. The Uluru Qualifier will soon be held in London. It may factor into your investigation.
Uluru Qualifier?
And that's where the flyer came in when that building exploded.
Uluru London Qualifier coming soon. Arcanist Fair in Cross Street. Support your favorite competitors. Winners will represent Great Britain in the Australian finals.
Australia? They shipped my uncle off to Australia back in the day. I always figured he got done in by a kangaroo.
How?
But if the smoky gets any worse, I think I might chance it. Maybe I'll find him in the outback there. Or at least avenge him.
With a tense frown, Tooth Fairy folds the flyer. The Uluru Games are not her current focus.
That smoke seems to have severely damaged that hospital. But you don't seem concerned.
We've seen worse, miss. You wouldn't believe how many houses we lose a year to gas line explosions. Nothing much can shock us Londoners. It's a city where you can meet arcanists from all over the world. Arabians, North Africans, Indians and Japanese. Who knows what kind of arcane skill they can cast?
The police are on the scene now, but can they really do anything to clean up the hospital?
Well, police have got their own way of dealing with things. None too friendly. I think you should bring this up to Mr. Fogg. He's one of the few folks that look out for the working man, and he's never afraid of calling out the upper class.
I suspect Mr. Fogg will have known before we did. Let's follow the path of this dark soot on the street. Maybe we can find it, or its owner.
As you like, miss.
The car makes its way eastward, weaving through the increasingly narrow streets.
Seems it's leading us to the East End. Only thing that comes out of the East End are drunks, tramps, and Jack the Ripper.
What the? The brakes screech as the car comes to an abrupt halt. The car shudders from some impact as a child's scream fills the air.
Bloody!
Oh no. You just ran someone over. A sudden stabbing pain strikes the nerve in Tooth Fairy's temple. She almost stumbles as she rushes to the exit of the car. The driver pokes his head through the car window, scrambling just to justify his mistake.
Miss, I swear to High Heaven that I have not had a drop of drink today. This is the East End for you. Either you hit someone, or someone hits you. Please, miss, take a look for me. Tell me if I hit anything. I can take it.
It appears there's no one in front of the car.
No one?
I'm up here!
Oh.
Look up there, miss!
Is that her? Tooth Fairy looks up to see a flurry of papers fluttering and spinning through the sky. A particularly vibrant bundle of fabric resembling some kind of burlap sack hurls through the carrot center.
Can you catch me?
Can you catch me? She's just flying through the sky of all things. Why? Okay. The little girl's skirt catches the wind, and she drifts weightlessly through the air. No wonder they call her Fluttershy. The colorful scraps of paper spiral through the air and swirl around her. They're all Uluru flyers still waiting to be distributed.
She's being lifted up on the wind. Is this her arcane skill? If so, she's amazing for her age.
Definitely. She gently descends, seemingly headed straight into Tooth Fairy's arms. But at the last moment, she shifts direction and lands softly a few steps away.
You lose. You weren't going to qualify for nothing like that.
Oh, why do I keep touching the wheel? It's her. We don't get to call her Fluttershy now. She's Sack.
Are you hurt at all?
Why would I be? It's not even as high up as a canary nest. It's no sweat with the help of little wind. But the Sutakiki was hurt. The car hit his waist.
Is this Sutakiki your friend?
Yes, but he ran away. He's probably angry. I bet he's still around. He don't forgive easy.
She points toward the shadowy alley to her left, where in a dark, smoggy corner, a pair of glowing eyes peek out from behind the garbage bin.
See? Over there. That's the Sutakiki. And I'm Flutterpage.
Oh, not Fluttersky. Her name is Flutterpage.
Could you bring your friend out? I'd like to make amends if I hurt him. Especially if he can't work.
Oh, he doesn't work. But you still need to apologize.
Flutterpage turns toward the alley, waving into the shadows to call over her friend.
Come on out, Sutakiki. This bloke here wants to apologize to you.
What? The Sutakiki stirs in the shadows, disturbing the pale yellow smog before suddenly leaping forward.
That thing doesn't even have a waist. And he's as big as a kangaroo.
His waist is right there. Can't you see?
A frightened critter is dangerous. Please stay back, child.
Well, this is gonna take me a minute. Alright, I had to quickly level up Willow here. Just to try her out.
Step into the fairy ring.
What the hell is that? What is this? Smoke inhalation?
Sir, I suggest you cover your mouth and nose. There's something off about the smog.
Christ, so the rumours are true. I never should have gone into an alley like this on such a smoggy day.
Kiki.
He's looking at the end of the alley. He must want to go that way.
The smog's not as thick there. I think he wants to escape. Maybe the smog's harmful to him too.
Which will heed my prayer.
Wait, I want to see what
A
it
little
is.
surprise.
Your punishment will come. Luch will foresee your rending.
Don't!
Bloody hell.
Okay. Okay. What? Okay, I just need to check something out. So you're a Sutakiki. Gas mass attack, cover your nose, hold your breath, and Slack's bubble bath. Mental damage, mostly mental damage, and poison. Alright, girls, you're good.
You want to hit the waves?
In the name of darkness. Be gone.
Hold my hand.
In the end, we'll travel to a place with...
I like the background music here.
Bollocks! Turn over already, you stupid car!
The engine roars to life again, its pistons strumming the retreat as the car careens through the streets.
Why did Mr. Driver run away like the Sutakiki?
He was worried for his car. If it got damaged, it could cost him his job.
Lose his job? Oh, got it. I don't want to lose my job neither.
The little girl gives an empathetic nod, but a child her age has no place in anything to do with the word work.
He has a car, so I wager he makes more than 6 pence a week. How did he get that job? Can I do it too?
You can't drive.
I suppose you could, once you grow up. Here, open your mouth.
Tooth Fairy produces a shimmering jar of ointment made from ground golden fairy and lanolin, a concoction capable of soothing one's fear and swallowing a Tooth Fairy for the first one time.
What's this?
You were hurt. It's a kind of ointment. It will numb the pain if you ingest it, or reduce the inflammation if you rub it on your wound.
Was I hurt? I feel a little pain. But what do you mean by inflammation? Does that mean I'll catch on fire?
Oh no.
Take it, and you will feel much better. Doctor's orders, kid.
The little girl's curiosity easily trumps her hesitation toward the unfamiliar. She stretches her neck and sucks the Tooth Fairy's ointment-covered finger.
Huh?
Wait, right from her finger?
It's a bit sour, like a moldy raspberry, but still sweet. Why aren't other pills as sweet as yours? I see. So you're a witch doctor, aren't you?
No, she ain't.
I can tell from your metal mask, teeth necklace, and the golden fairies in your jar.
That is a reasonable assumption.
So you're here for the Uluru Fair then? Must be. You even got the flyer with you.
Actually, I'm here as a doctor to investigate a tuberculosis outbreak. But the strange black fog damaged the hospital I was heading to. I followed the trace it left behind to this area.
Black fog? There ain't no black fog. Around here, the smog is yellow, and sometimes I've seen black smoke puffing up from the factory chimneys. But never in Cross Street. As like to be an arcane skill, miss. Lots of us arcanists here. That's why we're all chuffed up for the Uluru Qualifiers. There's herbalists, sidekicks, diviners, magicians.
Thank you, Flutter Page. I think I've got the idea.
Left to her own devices, Flutter Page could recite the job of every arcanist on the entire street.
Great! Then I'll show you around. You'll like it here.
Flutter Page grabs Tooth Fairy's hand and drags her toward the heart of the cross street. Alright, I'm going to be taking a break. Wonder what this is. This brochure is issued to all Uluru. Okay. Alright, so this is just the brochure, I believe. Bit different, but that's fine with me. Alright, I'll be right back to another day. Okay, so today is Monday. And I am now in part 2 here. Swallows in the chimney, whatever that expression means. So, I guess we're still in Cross Street. Still looking into things, so... yeah.
Welcome to Cross Street!
Makeshift stalls line in the street as the Arcanists celebrate the approaching Uluru Qualifiers. This event will decide who gets to represent Great Britain in the place in Australia. Flutter Page lets out the last of the Uluru flyers slip from her fingers. They scatter as they soar in the wind and drift into half-open windows.
Stop littering, you grimy little bug.
This is the Uluru Fair!
Tooth Fairy inspects the street, studying the alleys on either side, but finds nothing.
The trace of the black fog seems to have disappeared into a large gathering of arcanists. A wise choice. A choice, I'm already assuming, that has a certain level of intelligence.
Ultimately, she is only a doctor. When it comes to things outside of illness, she often finds herself lost.
It sounds like a monster. Like from tall tales where adults make up to scare us. But I heard people talking when I was sitting on the roof. They say it was born from a smokestack.
It does appear to have a similar composition to soot.
That's no good for the birds, Miss Doctor. I sure hope it don't come here. I don't want it to muck up the Uluru Fair, or scare the canaries away from the chimneys.
What's so special about the canaries?
They always know where the lanolin snails are hiding. All do is give them a bit of old bread or seeds, and they find me the snails.
Why snails?
It's my snail catching day. Stay right there, miss. I'll be back soon as I finish. Don't go getting off your sauce while I'm gone.
She is cute. With that, Flutterpage drifts toward a stall decorated with Union Jack bunting, before disappearing like a whisper on the wind. A gentleman in a fine gray woolen coat stands tall nearby. He is utterly incongruous with the rest of the street.
This is an Arcanist Fair Booth application form. You need only fill this, and get proper approval from the city government. Then no one can bother you.
Approval, eh? What's the point? The games will be over by the time they've even looked at my application.
Are we entirely certain we even want to hold the fair in these conditions? Don't you think the weather now isn't appropriate for that kind of strenuous physical activity?
What else can we do? We need to earn our bread, or perhaps you could clean the air for us, eh, Mr. Fogwalker?
Is that Mr. Fogg?
I'm doing all that I can.
Which means you can't do nothing at all, don't it? Yeah, we're coughing. But what we make in a day at the fair here is more than an entire week anywhere else. Not like we have royal allowances to rely on. Unlike you. Enough of it already. Now, would you mind moving aside for the little lady behind you? She's been waiting a while.
Oh, I do apologize, miss. Miss Tooth Fairy.
I didn't expect to run into you here, Mr. Fogg.
The pleasure is all mine, miss. Oh, where my manners. Welcome to London.
A cross-street local hurries by, letting out a sharp, violent cough.
Of course, we were supposed to meet in the office of the London Atmospheric Cleanup Committee. I'd have prepared a fine Indian tea for you, but I was called away to deal with matters here on Cross Street. It's a happy coincidence that you popped by. It will save us both some time.
Mr. Fogg awkwardly fiddles with his gloves, clearly feeling embarrassed at the indecency of their meeting. Thankfully for him, Tooth Fairy seems more concerned about the issue at hand.
Something the matter? You mean the air pollution?
Not precisely, no. Though one could say the problem is related. In fact, it seems just about every one of our problems comes down to these sticky contradictions. For example, contrary to good wisdom, the people of Cross Street have opted to continue their fair, despite the obvious dangers of the fog. That's just unreasonable.
You're the unreasonable one here, mate. Stop the Uluru Fair on account of a bit of fog. Fog in London. Should we cancel if there's water in the Thames next?
Citizens should be made aware of the harm caused by fog, and reduce unnecessary outdoor activities.
Pardon me, you lot government officials?
A few busybodies gather near the two of them, ready to catch the latest gossip.
You saying we aren't allowed to celebrate the Uluru Qualifiers? So what are you expecting us to do? Just watch the games and then pop off home? It's not like there are many events left for us Arcanists to celebrate in our own country.
Sir, you seem to have quite a severe cough.
Oh, it's not so bad. Just a little curse is all. Doesn't matter none. A good Arcanist healer can cure me.
That's exactly what I've been talking about. A curse? Good lord, man. You have a disease called tuberculosis. You need a proper doctor, not a healer.
Maybe this is just how citizens in Cross Street best comprehend the disease. In the Arcanist way, it's not a matter of Arcanists or humans. Tuberculosis is caused by the presence of bacterium in the air. It can't be cured through ritualistic purification or exorcism.
You just don't get it, do you? It's not like that. If this tuber what have you is the reason, then why does my chest burn like hell? I've never heard of no bacteria what could do that.
You feel like your chest is burning?
Like swallowing a flaming coal it is. It all started this month. Never felt anything like this before.
Like I said, there's no disease. This has to be the Fog Hag's curse. She's the one who summoned this damnable black fog. She used to be a toad before she was thrown into an alchemist's cauldron and came out as a twisted old hag that haunts our street.
Could you tell me more about the black fog?
The vendor remains silent, shooting a hostile glance down Cross Street.
Shh! Don't say anything about it. It'll bring bad luck.
He coughs, waving his hand to scatter the attention of the crowd, then vanishes into the yellow smog.
So now we have a fog hag? What's to come next, I wonder?
He raises his hands to in resignation, knowing that as a gentleman, he should speak no further on the matter.
Sometimes, despite being an arcanist myself, it's hard to understand my own people. But that's what they think around here. My colleague is presently out investigating this curse they mention. But, to say nothing of his intrepid skills as a ranger, I doubt he'll produce any evidence of this so-called hag. In fact,
He's already here. Yeehaw! A long, sharp whistle cuts through the air, like that of a rider galloping across the plains of the land down under. But what follows is not the sound of hooves.
Arthur, a little help, mate. We've got trouble.
So that's him, eh? A hat-riding hobby horse races forward, its coat fluttering in the thick smog like a cavalryman returning from a reconnaissance mission. A dark cloud follows close behind him.
So, here it is.
what's that after you now, old hat?
It's the black fog. Seems I've startled it, and now it's sent out critters into the streets. Steady on. Let's charge like soldiers of the Great Emu War.
The Great Emu War? A carbuncle?
It's the hag. The hag's curse is coming for us.
I highly doubt that.
Those nasty critters are coming from her garden. Run!
A bold attempt.
Oh, what the heck is this thing again? Alright, so when an ally unit gets a stats down control or negative status, smoke inhalation increases. So when it's full, we get poisoned. Now what the hell are you? You look like a group bunkle, which is basically a carbuncle or a critter, except you look like you're burning. And it got a bunch of scrap on you like a robot or something like that. Yeah, I'm done.
Which will heed my prayer. Be gone.
It won't last.
Whoa! Get away.
So they heal. We take damage.
A gift in return for your
Will
comfort.
foresee your vengeance.
Sway, my little boat.
I found a tooth. Perhaps it's a gift for the tooth fairies.
Someone's vacuuming outside my room.
May I say it was an honor to serve as your bodyguard, miss. I'm Brimley, the ranger colleague of my mate here, Arthur Fogg.
I wasn't hurt. Thanks to you.
Mr. Fogg lightly brushes the soot from his coat before walking over to the Tooth Fairy. Despite clearing away most of the black fog, his expression looks grim.
Thank you, Miss Tooth Fairy, for telling us what happened at the hospital. We ought to make a summary of our investigation so far.
Seasoned government employees are particularly good at providing summaries.
We've encountered 3 oddities thus far today. This mysterious black fog, the unusual burning chest symptom, and...
He carefully considers his words before bringing up the difficult third point.
this so-called fog hag living on Cross Street.
Well done, mate. You did it. You said it out loud. We may just break the ice of your soul yet.
I'm only doing my due diligence by quoting the title verbatim. Back to the topic. Combining these clues together, we should assume a causal connection. The hag releases black fog, giving Londoners this variant of TB with the burning chest symptom.
When did you move into 221B Baker Street, mate?
The Fogwalker shifts his gaze, knowing that, even if he were to inhale a mouthful of that black fog, his face couldn't look any grimmer.
It's a reasonable speculation. If so, then the first thing is to determine if such a lady lives here on Cross Street. We'd better pay her a visit.
If you insist, Dal. I can already confirm that for you. She's here, all right. Down at the house of the mangy front garden at the south end.
Very well. But might I suggest we don't all go in a rush to pay her a visit? We know nothing about her. Or even whether this hag is a danger.
A little figure squeezes its way in.
Oi, Miss Witch Doctor. You done talking to Mr. Fogg and Mr. Hat?
Hey, your bag.
Flutterpage, where have you been?
Wasn't you listening? I was off catching snails, with a bit of help from the canaries.
Flutterpage lives in an old glass jar filled with snails.
Good on you, little tacker. That's quite the harvest.
She tucks the jar away in the folds of her clothing, then lightly grabs the hem of Tooth Fairy's coat.
Shall we then, Miss Witch Doctor?
Where are you taking me?
Thought I'd show you around Cross Street. Figuring since I'm the best guide here.
Are you? Then, do you happen to know about the house at the south end of the street?
Flutterpage ponders for a moment before her eyes widen in realization.
Sure do. Actually, these snails are for her. You can tag along with me to see her if you like.
Okay, so we may or may not. Okay, so what's this? A human report. Conversation overheard as a carbuncle basks in photosynthesis. So rubbish, okay, rubbish. Insects or herbs, whatever you call it. Alright, bog off. Alright, on to the third one is the Fog Hag. I guess we're gonna be visiting whoever is the Fog Hag. That's her home, huh? The smog in the garden feels unusually dense. It has taken on a almost milky, gelatinous quality. The damp, fishy air sticks to the visitors. Sparse ivy winds around in the ancient stone wall, its bare roots clinging desperately to it.
This right here, miss, is the Fog Lady's house. As you can tell, it is a very big, big house. Not like mine. Mine is small, but very high up.
Steep, tilted roofs, sash windows. It's very Victorian.
Oh no. Her name ain't Victoria, miss. At least, I don't think so.
I don't know how she came up with that.
No. I mean, Victorian architecture is a kind of style of house. I'm saying this house must have a long history.
Oh. Too right about that, miss. It's been here for ages. Come along then. I'll take you in.
Flutterpage doesn't knock, nor does she touch anything resembling a doorbell. She simply leads Tooth Fairy straight to the garden gate. Oh, it's another variant. Vines carbuncle. Several carbuncles peek out from among the vines before quickly retreating, their eyes still locked on the visitors.
Are these her critters?
You lot are hungry today, ain't you?
From the folds of her oversized frock, the Flutterpage pulls out a jar filled with snails.
They ain't for you. They're for the lady of the house. Now please let me and Miss Witch Doctor through.
The carbuncles refuse their entry, shooting out a few tendrils to form a blockade.
Sorry, Miss Witch Doctor. They was much friendlier before.
You've been here before?
Yep. They always let me in straight away. No clue what set them off this time.
Flutterpage stands on her tiptoes, planning to hop over the barrier. But after a quick glance at Tooth Fairy, she abandons the idea.
I don't rightly know what to do. I try calling her, but it won't do much good. Even if she heard me, she won't come out.
You're saying she never leaves her house?
Not that I ever seen.
Do other people visit her?
No.
But you visit her often?
She likes when I bring her snails. You think she eats them? All I know is I gave her snails. And then she asked me to stay around her house for a while. When she's not in a sour mood, she even teaches me some words for arcane skills. But if she is sour, then all she does is hand me some books, and I can't even read most of them. Don't go asking her too many whys. If you do, she says, "Get out!" And you got to go. So far, the longest I stayed was a whole afternoon.
I see.
Tooth Fairy surveys the old mansion. To her, it looks more like a small castle than a house. She decides not to disturb the formidable witch dwelling within it.
Maybe I'm the reason they aren't letting you in. I'll just stay back here.
All right, then. Stay there and I'll tell her about you, miss.
The Garbunkles lower their guard as Tooth Fairy retreats. The strange plants and critters in the garden clear the way for Flutterpage as she makes her way down the path. Flutterpage raises the snail jar high above her head as if presenting some kind of a token.
Miss? Do you hear me? Wakey, wakey!
Okay, there she is. The lock clatters heavily, and the hinges on the old oak door give a mournful groan. Alright, there she is. The character I pulled for now. She is very covered, I believe.
Here you go, miss. A fresh batch of snails.
She doesn't respond. The witch's stare is fixed on a unfamiliar woman by the garden entrance.
Who is this?
Well, I don't know her name, but she's a witch doctor.
No, just a doctor.
She came here in a car with a flyer of the Uluru Qualifiers, so I think she's here for the Uluru... Oh, I forgot that you don't like the word.
Hello, miss. I'm here investigating the source of the black fog. You can call me Tooth Fairy.
Go away.
But why? I ain't asked too many whys, miss, did I? That was only my first one today. Oh.
She realizes something.
So I can't come in at all? You promised you'd help me practice my arcane skill.
Then you better not let me catch you saying Uluru ever again.
The witch anxiously snatches the snail jar from the girl's hand and closes the door. Slamming, more like it. The door closes.
Aww. Oh, she left me a book. Look, it's got a carbuncle on it.
Come here, Flutterpage. Are you all right?
I thought I could play at her house today.
Would you like to do something else?
Like what?
Like, see your new friend, Mr. Hat.
Mr. Hat?
Who?
Ms. Flutterpage, I'll ask you to not wear me on your head. I know I can fly, but that doesn't mean you can treat me like a kite. Besides, I'm due to begin my patrol. I need to...
A gust of wind blows Brimley into the hallway, spurring Flutterpage to give chase.
That gives us some time for business. First of all, allow me to express my respect for your adventurous spirit. A haunted hag mansion whose owner feeds on snails. To visit her so quickly on your own initiative was a bold move, Miss Tooth Fairy.
He now has no choice but to admit the existence of the witch.
Here's your tea. No sugar, just as you asked.
And of course, he has kept the promised Indian tea at the forefront of his mind.
The connection between this lady and the black fog will require further confirmation. However, judging from our encounter, she doesn't seem to have much concern for the world outside her home. I also noted that the word Uluru seemed to irritate her.
Uluru? As in the Uluru Games? Not a fan, I take it. It's certainly odd for an arcanist to have a negative impression of the games. Though not unprecedented. Which reminds me of this letter. I suspect our Fog Lady might be glad to hear it.
Mr. Fogg places a voiced letter between the two of them. The paper swiftly transforms into a wide mouth.
Letter from the St. Pavlov Foundation Uluru Games Organising Committee to the Uluru London Qualifiers Organising Committee. Copied to the office of the London Atmospheric Cleanup Committee. Due to the rapid deterioration of air quality in London and the presence of an unidentified arcane-related tuberculosis outbreak, we regretfully have decided that the Uluru London Qualifiers will be cancelled until further notice, to protect the health of competitors and spectators.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of pissed off arcanists.
Competitors still wishing to participate are encouraged to register for the qualifiers in Paris or other cities.
The paper folds itself up and drops back into the table. Mr. Fogg sighs.
I received this shortly after submitting my report concerning the events on Cross Street.
They're right. It's better for everyone's help.
No objections here. But it's certain to cause a stir. Miss Tooth Fairy, you saw how passionate the citizens were about this event. What it means to them. They'll eat us alive when we announce this. So much more so that it's cancelled because of air quality. The firm will not be pleased, I can assure you. This great city will be the laughingstock of Europe. If not the entire world. Unless there's a way to clean the air in London. Perhaps then I might convince the Foundation to reconsider.
Mr. Fogg, there's only 3 weeks left before the qualifiers. It's a serious effort just to address the smog over London, let alone this new black fog and the disease that has come with it.
3 weeks. 1 for making plans, 1 for enacting said plans, and still 1 more for the final procedures.
He slumps into his chair with his arms crossed and glares furiously at the voiced letter on the desk.
What are you doing now, Mr. Fogg?
Thinking, Miss Tooth Fairy, is how I make the plans.
Bramley, fleeing pursuit, eventually finds his way back.
Forgive me for interrupting, Arthur, but I had to call off my patrol earlier than expected. I'm afraid I need a favor of you, Miss Tooth Fairy. Would you mind helping us with some of the sick? After that black fog rolled through, patients with this tuberculosis variant seem to be multiplying as fast as hares in the Great Artesian Basin.
Is it really that hard to say tuberculosis? Alright, so looks like we're about to see more of, I believe her name, I know it's Willow, and to past glory. When I hear the word past glory, I'm thinking reminiscence, a flashback or something. Maybe. Alright, let's continue.
Through misty woods, on paths concealed by haze, he thrice died and thrice was born in ancient days. Guide me rightly, that I may not stray.
Ooh. By the Willow fire, a witch is dancing in the ritual ground. She performs her dance alone, only the shadows cast by the flames accompany her.
Flowers bear fruit, and beasts give offspring's way. With eyes of fire, pierce through the cloudy maze.
What the?
Failed again. Damn it.
Hold on, let me take a look at this appearance here. She's got ritual Stonehenges on her house here. And if I had to believe that her appearance looks like now, right here, this might be her Insight 2 or 3's appearance, I believe. She looks really gorgeous. Again, I will say this. She clenches her right leg, her fingers turning white at the tips.
I won't get anywhere so long as I can't move right.
The typically docile carbuncles are now locked in a frenzied, shrieking match. What should have been a calming ritual has quickly turned into a bloodied war drum, and all because of a single misstep.
Enough! The last thing this haunted old place needs is another crazy creature!
I guess she's about to discipline those things, huh?
Is this a new route?
Oh, I didn't even see it. Are those mushrooms?
Correct.
Which people I call upon you.
Listen. A little surprise.
Be gone. Your punishment will come.
Well, what did that?
In the name of darkness.
Come on in, water's fine. Sway, sway, my little boat.
I found it too. Perhaps it's a gift.
Miss Willow.
I flat page.
I swear to God.
She collapses by the Willow fire, causing the intense flames to suddenly die down. She swiftly grabs a blanket from the pile to cover her legs.
Whichever thing you are, don't think I won't strangle you to death with my bare hands.
She struggles to her feet, but just as she is about to stand, one leg gives away. And she fell. The little girl tumbles through the window and into the room.
Bloody.
She tries to lift herself up for the second time, but can only support half of her body. She looks up to find a little face among the pile of stitched and restitched clothes. There could be no more embarrassing or infuriating way for another to behold her.
You. What are you doing here?
I only wanted to show you the arcane skill you taught me.
Flutterpage nimbly gets back on her feet, bouncing around as she takes off the dust. Seeing that the girl is unharmed, the witch turns her face, hiding her fleeting look of concern.
But you are in a bad mood, aren't you? What happened? I promised I didn't call you Miss Willow in front of others. You said I can call you Miss Willow when it's just you and me, right?
And you actually listened? First time for everything, eh? But it's not about what you call me.
Then what is it?
She stares at Willow in confusion. Suddenly she realizes why she's lying on the ground.
Let me help you up.
I don't need it.
With a flick of her wrist, Willow's coat and hat leap onto her like loyal dogs. She tries to stand up for a third time, using the rough stone pillar beside her for support, and finally manages to straighten herself out.
So then if you value my words so highly, what about the time I told you I don't need a knocker-upper?
I remember. You told me, there's no sense waking me up for anything. I don't have any work to go to. But I'm not here to wake you up, am I? I already did that for the whole street hours ago.
Oh, have you now? Then maybe you can buzz off and bother someone else. I didn't give my permission to let annoying little flies in my house. I'm in the middle of something important, so leave me be.
Willow grabs the broom handle and points it toward the window Flutterpage opened.
Just one more question, miss. I'll be quick. Miss Tooth Fairy and Mr. Fog say you made people sick with the black fog. But I know you didn't do it. Did you? You never told me you can summon black fog.
Done with all that nonsense, are you? If that's all you knocked on my window for?
But if you didn't, I can tell them the truth. Or you could even help them find the black fog. You're the best witch I know.
Their problem is no concern of mine.
Oh. But I did hear something. I was thinking maybe you'd like to hear it too. Letter from St. Pavlov Foundation. Due to, what? Deuterion air quality? And arcane tubal keeled kiss? They said the Uluru Qualifiers are cancelled.
Stop. Do you understand at all what you're saying?
No, but...
Go away.
Aww.
Aw, don't make her cry. I don't think she can cry. Can she?
I said get out!
Hi. She seizes Flutter Page with both hands and half dragging, half pulling her toward the open window.
You know what I don't want to hear, eh, lass? Your voice.
Flutter Page is flung out of the window and carried away like a kite with a broken string on the breeze.
And your infernal knocking.
Ah!
Don't you never take another step into my house. Never.
The room reverts to its familiar silence, no life save for its solitary resident, just as it has been for the past decade. Her hastily thrown on coat and hat slide to the floor as Willow leans on her right leg and limps over to the storage table filled with bottles and jars. There's still enough mucus left over from yesterday's snails for her to use. She pours the liquid from the jar into the cauldron.
Just a wee bit left.
She sets the fire alight, and the lubricant starts to bubble in the cauldron.
Eat snails? Let them think what they will. I don't care. The fog hag. A toad monster. Failed work of an ancient alchemist. Yes, of course. Charlotte O'Hagan. You're nothing but an ugly, evil, terrifying fog hag living in a haunted house. You deserve every bit of it.
So her real name is Charlotte O'Hagan. So she's Irish. I think. She lifts her eyes and gazes out the window. To her surprise, she can see the moon. A flurry of small clouds slowly making their way across it, and a flock of silhouetted birds swooping and swerving in tacit harmony. Like the white sheep that roamed those vast, rocky hills, like the witches in black robes who dance together in perfect unison.
What an age. At last, witches no longer need worry about being captured in their sleep, pierced on a stake, or burnt alive.
Our next competitor is our witch from Ireland, a once-in-a-generation talent!
The ancient rituals are different now. We dance, communicating with spirits like a joyful game.
Flashback?
The Uluru Games!
Or a graceful competition.
And the winner for the floor ritual is...
A desirable.
What the? Oh, what happened?
I left the pot on.
The smell signals a point of no return for the lubricant, and its appearance confirms it as she sees a small blackened mass stuck to the bottom of the cauldron. Willow's prosthetic leg grinds and creaks as the joints rub against each other, causing her hip to itch.
Back and back. Fit for the rubbish now. Rubbish.
Yeah. Alright, you know what my thought would be? I'm guessing that it was a competitor, and from what you heard, she was a floor ritualist. And I guess something must have happened, and she might have lost her right leg, and she's wearing a prosthetic. Yeah, so Little Knocker Upper is my next one, I believe. So, yeah. I think this is all about Flutter Page. What's she gonna find out? Early morning, huh? As morning breaks, the rooster crows, announcing the start of another day of hard labor for the people of East End. In this land of industry, shipyards, and factories, there is a dire need of coal, fuel, and the labor to sustain them.
Good morning, sir, madam. This here's your wake-up call. Rise and shine, wakey time.
Flutterpage looks up to the gray sky above. There is only a touch of blue and no sun, stars, or moon to be seen.
Enough! I said enough with the gal. I'm already awake, ain't I? So stop buzzing around.
The seasoned knocker-upper deftly dodges the basin full of foot-washing water that has been flung out of the window and slips through the alley and onto the next street. She still has a job to do.
Wakey, wakey! Morning's here! Mrs. Wilson, you awake? You can't be late again, or old Mr. Pig Eyes will be on you with his belt. What happened? Didn't she hear me?
Suddenly, she's shoved from behind.
Oi, who did that? Shut up already, Liberty. Didn't you know Mrs. Wilson was sick? She's sick? What's wrong? Doesn't hurt like swallowing a burning coal, does it?
Who told you that? Yeah, maybe. Plenty of folks have been getting that too. My dad says it's a curse.
I say bull, but let's just be rumors be rumors.
It's not a curse, dummy.
I'm no dummy, Liberty. You are, believing anything what that hag told you. She's a dirty, ugly old liar. And she's the one who cursed everyone here. She's a toad. A toad what can't get out of her house to see sunlight. And decided to curse us all just because she didn't like the fair.
Have you gone off your rocker, Freddy? Just leave me alone. I got work to do.
That's work, eh? You call knocking on people's window work?
The boy rolls up his sleeve and pats his bicep.
I climb up in the steam turbines to tighten up the screws. And I clean them chimneys from the inside. Think you can do that, eh?
She certainly can fly.
But I don't want to tighten screws or climb up chimneys. I don't like the smells.
Oh, so you like the smell of this black fog, do you? All thanks to your wicked hag friend.
Go away.
She whips a clothesline pole at the boy's knee with a sharp crack.
Ugh.
Dude, she kicked your ass. The boy leaps forward the girl, but loses her among the heap of rags.
Huh?
He swivels his head toward the sound and stands there shocked as Flutterpage deftly leaps over him.
What the?
The fog lady taught me this.
Lady? You mean that hag? I should have guessed. You'd be that ugly toad witch's apprentice.
You're not my friend anymore.
Wow. She runs off deeper into the cross street. The old mansion looks just as it always does. From the strange garden to the ominous building half lost in the haze of the smog. Even so, Flutterpage is hit by an unusual feeling. One she can't quite place.
It's not snail delivery day, but after she threw me out of the house last time, maybe I'll go apologize.
Aww.
Maybe then I can learn some more tricks from her, or at least read her books.
The creature eyes her wearily.
Hello, hello. Now why didn't you let Miss Tooth Fairy in last time? She's not a bad person. She even gave me some flying medicine. It was sweet and sour. You think Miss Willow's lonely? She needs new friends, and maybe some flying medicine too.
The carbuncle seems to reject her assessment, leaping side to side in a clear display of defiance.
But this time, I won't go through the window. Not that I get why she was so mad. Was it that I stopped her from eating breakfast, maybe?
No.
Well, time to figure it out. I bet if I walk in from the front door, she won't be so angry.
I'm not so sure. Flutterpage enters the garden like she always does, except this time the carbuncles don't make way for her. They leap at her.
What's wrong?
Flutterpage swings the clothesline pole, but fails to drive them off. They close in on her, malice in their eyes. Fortunately, reinforcements come galloping through the smog.
Miss Flutterpage? What in the blazes are you doing here? Good lord, I hope you didn't get hurt.
Mr. Hat!
Miss Bartley, I'd advise you to please stay a safe distance back.
No.
Oh, who are you?
Just look at the state of this garden. Oh, Charlotte, what have you been through to fall this far?
Well, I guess we got it.
Come together to conquer this great weight. Pixie,
Perfectly understood.
splash in the water.
What's the veteran without his gun?
You have a little faith in me, Master.
I never get tired of this one.
Please,
Just a gentle blow. Our courage and determination brought us victory.
Thank goodness, you're in one piece.
I don't get it. They ain't never bit me before.
Well, you must always stay alert when you encounter critters, even in a familiar place. That's some genuine ranger's advice.
A ranger? Are you really a ranger? Can you be a ranger without a real horse? Will I get a hat like you if I get to be a ranger?
Those are some random questions, girl. Fortunately, a hat's range of expressions doesn't include awkwardness, or much else for that matter.
Hi, miss. Are you here for the lady living here?
Fluttered Page circles the unfamiliar lady, looking at her up and down.
Miss, you look a lot like Miss Willow, the fog lady. So straight and proper like a swan.
Miss Willow, you said?
Fluttered Page claps her mouth before realizing she wasn't the one to utter this name.
Yes, Miss Willow. Did she say you were allowed to call her that too, miss?
Allowed?
Even her sigh carries an elegant, melodious quality.
What kind of nutter has she become? Thank you for taking me here, Mr. Brimley. I can handle the rest myself.
She makes a gentle motion with her hand, signaling that she has finished talking.
You're welcome. Let's go, shall we? Hey, little tacker? It's not safe to leave you here. I'll escort you to the hospital. Miss Tooth Fairy needs your help.
All right.
Aww. Fluttered Page holds onto Brimley's coat as the two of them leave the garden. She looks back a few times. Caroline remains totally unmoving. It's as though she can converse with the owner of the house through her stare alone. Temporary hospital. Alright?
I thought a hospital was a big building. This is more like a fair. Only with sick people.
Patients lie on basic steel frame beds. Their once pristine white sheets are now marked with yellow and gray stains. In the face of such a scene, the bright flags of the Uluru Games now look lifeless and limp.
Well, you're right there, mate. It's not your typical hospital. Arthur's calling it the London Emergency Relief Centre for Special Tuberculosis Patients.
But it's still kind of a hospital, ain't it?
She doesn't linger on this thought for long. The image of the unfamiliar lady in Willow's garden won't leave her mind.
Who's that swan lady? She's not from Cross Street. How did she know Miss Fog Lady?
Swan? I suppose you mean Miss Caroline Bartley. We're hoping she'll be our lifesaver.
Mr. Fogg appears behind them, looking rather pale.
Lifesaver?
Exactly so.
There's a curious spark behind Mr. Fogg's eyes. He looks straight ahead as he speaks.
See, my hat friend. We civil servants can actually accomplish a thing or two. We found Miss Bartley, a shining star of Uluru, a talented competitor, and above all, she's an insider. She arrived in London days ago, looking for our fog lady. She claimed to be an old acquaintance. Some luck, isn't it? If she can figure out the connection between her, the black fog, and this fiery TB. Oh, speaking of which, That Miss Willow truly has a special name.
Heh. What are you laughing at? How long have you been up, mate?
A thought crosses Brimley's mind. His partner has probably had hardly slept all week. A burst of glorious vigor illuminates the fogwalker's face, like sunlight breaking through a gap in the gray sky.
Sleep? Who needs to sleep at a time like this? I'm more than energetic. I'm a veritable locomotive. Better than ever.
Arthur, you need to get some shut-eye, mate.
Is that what you think? That I'll just go back home for a little rest now? Now of all times. Dead wrong, mate. We've got rounds to make at the London Emergency Relief Centre for special tuberculosis patients. Come with me, my chapeau chap. We've got a city to save.
Mr. Fogg grabs the hobby horse and forcibly drags Brimley away with him.
Oh, all right. Miss Flutterpage, go find Miss Tooth Fairy, would you? She said your arcane skill might be of some help.
The two of them quickly vanish into the streets.
My arcane skill?
The wind.
Help? How can I help a witch doctor? Maybe Miss Tooth Fairy will tell me. But where is she? So many people here. I can hardly tell them from one another. Oh, but she has got those golden fairies with her. Maybe I can see them, like how Miss Willow taught me.
Now,
To control the wind, you need to learn to see it first.
oh, look at her just peeking, and she teaches her through the window. Like a squirrel just looking at the bowl of almonds.
Can you see the wind, lass?
Only when it's blowing something around, like dust or old paper. But I ain't got nothing like that with me now. I used all of it when Freddy tried to catch me. Is there anything else I can use?
She scans through the pale yellow smog, the fluttering Uluru flags informing her of the wind's direction.
Oh, I see it.
The wind picks up, and the flags, along with the people's clothes, start to flutter in the same direction.
What with this wind, eh? Where's it coming from? Oi, me hat! Please, is there any good Samaritan who can spare a blanket? Oh, God bless you.
The smog dissipates in the wind. For a brief moment, the air is noticeably clearer in this small corner of the world. At one of the beds, a little golden fairy is being held by its wings and placed into a patient's mouth.
Miss Tooth Fairy!
Flutterpage, there you are.
She swiftly closes the patient's mouth, making him swallow her bizarre medicine before walking briskly over to Flutterpage.
What's wrong?
We've got to find a way to clear up the sky.
Didn't you just did? Yeah. Didn't she just do exactly that? Here. So, that thick stubborn, famous Spartan black broth. What is this? Right, there's nothing here. Alright, we're just gonna go to Black Swan, and then I'm just gonna wait until tomorrow. Maybe. The oak door slowly creaks open, the inside air meeting the outside and stirring up a faint mist. She struggles her way through the garden, a brazier in her arms.
It's been near a week.
With every step, her right leg gives out a painful creak. She looks at the half-open window. This week has been a number of uninvited guests, but not one of them was the one she's been hoping to see. A curious little thing who flutters back and forth like a sparrow.
This is how the world works. I should have known. I'm always too naive.
She carries out her usual task of clearing out the garden. First, she gathers dry twigs and leaves to use as kindling. Then she strikes a match, throws it into the brazier, and waits for the fire to grow. As the fire intensifies, she gathers the trash from the ground, from around the garden, most of which is flung into her garden by her neighbors, and adds it to the fire.
A dead mouse. Classic. Sure to disgust me.
Yeah, these people really hate her. Willow picks up the decaying mouse carcass and tosses it into the flames, the fire flaring up so fiercely it nearly scorches her eyebrows. In the early years, she would often watch from the window, her dark eyes fixed on the people who passed by.
Rotten apples and eggs from that boring old codger. I suppose he's down to his last teeth now. Soon enough, the only thing he'll be eating is porridge. Bit of comfort in knowing he hates porridge.
Funny. Even now, the old mansion's doors and windows remain firmly shut. The owner's face hasn't been seen for many years. All the neighbors know is that a fearsome witch lives there.
Hands burnt by steam. It's a curse. Bumping into ghosts during the Samhain. Curse. Lost everything betting on the ponies. Each and every misfortune must surely be Willow's curse.
Wow, they really blame her for everything, even the things that she didn't even do. She picks out some garlic from the garbage bin. This simple seasoning can be repurposed as seeds for fertilizer.
Superstitious fools.
Selfish morons. The only items that cannot be utilized are the wooden carvings with bizarre symbols on them, rumored to possess the power to ward off demons.
Shysters.
Demon banishing water is the most clumsy and silly item, but it's also the most manageable to deal with. Willow simply lets it be, treating the water poured into her garden as a free irrigation.
Brats.
Salt. This is the worst offender. It dehydrates the plants, often killing them outright. She digs up the tainted soil, ready to wash later.
Oh. Well, now these are new, aren't they? Blood-stained rags. Wonderful. Sooner or later, they'll all cough their lungs out.
Click-clack. The stiffness in her right leg is unbearable. Mosquitoes incessantly buzz. Hang on. Buzz in her ears. Moments later, Willow's leg gives away, and she collapses into a patch of potato flowers. Yeah, she's really not doing well. Soft, soggy soil. A limp, decomposing body.
No!
She smacks her prosthesis on the knee, as if the blow will set the joint back in its rightful place. She grabs the dirt as she fights to get up to her feet, struggling. This is a struggle she's long grown used to. Lured by the sound of her strikes, the carbuncles slowly make their way toward her.
Away with you!
The critters scatter, ducking behind the leaves and watching her quietly from a distance. She clutches a find with one hand, but it only throws her off balance, and she falls to the ground once again.
Horrible.
She is more proficient in the art of balance than almost anyone, yet she also finds it more difficult than anyone to adjust to even the smallest imperfection.
No. I don't need to cast my arcane skills. Stand up. Stand up. You loser, you. I need machine lubricant. I suppose I need to buy some.
This time, she makes it to her feet.
I can do this. I will do this. All by myself.
I think of what happened to her right leg. She became a recluse. And if she has not left her house, then it's going to be a problem. I think she's antisocial. Maybe. Her steps grow clearer, more steady. She grips the delicate metalwork of the gate.
Nothing to it.
Let's go.
Her leg clacking like a slow, mournful melody. She steps into the smoggy, somber streets of London. And watch, people are just going to throw rotten things at her because they blame her for the smog and the fog and whatever. There's a makeshift sign on that door.
Shop closed due to illness, while the owner has gone to Miss Tooth Fairy for treatment. Please leave your name, order, and address on the list below, and we will deliver it to your home as soon as the owner recovers.
She picks up the pen and then sets it down again without writing a single word.
Tooth Fairy. Alright. Then I can find the owner if I go to this Tooth Fairy. Is she some kind of doctor, then? Not that she could treat what ails me anyway, eh? What other shops might sell canary saliva and lanolin snail's slime?
She wraps her cloak tighter around her body in an attempt to fend off the cold, damp air.
All this time I could have done this, if only I hadn't relied on others for so long. There must be another store for arcane supplies. But I think I need to lie down.
The cold hues of the night still linger in the morning mist. The Thames have never looked so quiet. Across the river, earth-red flags flutter like burning balls of fire. A smattering of white emergency medical tents are scattered below them. A trampled Uluru Qualifiers flyer floats down to her feet, brushing against her ankle.
Sports fanatics. Black fog. Strange tuberculosis. All these things have nothing to do with me. All I need are my ingredients. Nothing more. I ought to just order what I need as a home delivery. Ask them to leave the package at the entrance of the garden once a week. As for the fees, I'll just have to sell all me old medals. That'll be enough to support me until I become a proper hag. Then I can never leave my house till the day I die.
She really has self-esteem issues. Maybe.
There's something dark rising up from the water.
Huh?
It's nothing special. A bit of old rope. Or an old boot. Why can't it be a swan? A black swan? Here? Really?
Ooh. Okay, is that her there?
That's why you ought to go out more often. Else you'll miss these precious moments. A chance to see something special, like a black swan. Look at it. Some creatures are born with these smooth, pitch-black feathers. But it's only under the sunlight that you can see their iridescent shine. That's when all the other animals can only look on and feel themselves inferior. They can never stand out from the crowd in the same way. Your silence is an answer. I know it. Just as I know every time you lash out and curse, you're cursing your own failure. Walk closer, Charlotte. Why don't we take a better look at it? Look at its gracefully long neck. Those magnificent wings. And how it glides across the water. All swans are beautiful. But only the black feathers make it truly stand out. It brings back some memories, don't it? The feeling of being one with the swans, and the flow of each step of our dance. We were so close to perfection. All we needed was for you to spread your wings and fly. Fly to Paris, Cairo, Istanbul, and eventually to the Uluru Rock. Then it comes to me. and I can hold it in my arms, lift it above my head. This perfect, shining golden medal, standing on the Uluru rock.
Miss Willow, but what are you doing out here? You've got to move. Black fog is coming straight for you.
Ignore the noise. Eyes on the swan. It's only a tacky white swan, covered in soot.
Oh my... Oh, okay, so it's a dead swan.
How ridiculous it looks now. Wearing that false disguise. The poor thing. It must have been covered accidentally.
Miss Willow, why are you looking at that swan? It's dead.
Of course it's dead and gone. That's right. What kind of swan would want to be with something so ugly and stained? Of course it's ended up alone. Died alone. What else were you expecting? You didn't really believe that spread your wings and fly bollocks, did you?
Hello? Can you hear me, Miss Willow?
You ought to thank the black fog for lifting your illusion. Now you can see it rightly. You're not some special black swan that was born to greatness. You're nothing but...
Miss Willow, what's wrong with your leg?
but a cripple.
Come back, Fervid.
She was really out of it. And there are the tears, I can see them. God, she really missed her old life. Willow lowers her head to see that Flutter Page is standing at her feet. Tooth Fairy stands a few steps away, calling out to her. Flutter Page gently touches her prosthetic leg, revealing the secret that she has been too proud to admit for these last 10 years.
Why? Why didn't you tell me about your...
You're much stronger than I thought, Miss Willow. If you allow me to address you as such.
Leave me be. I'm going home.
I'll walk you home. I got you. Miss Tooth Fairy and I was just chasing after the black fog, but I can walk you home first.
I just want to go home.
Willow uses all her might to return, but still can't do it with any grace. Her stiff right leg continues to impede her.
I'll go with you.
She stretches out her hand and pulls at Willow's clothes in a clumsy attempt to stop her friend from leaving.
Flutter Page.
Willow swats her hand away.
Huh?
Stop following me!
Miss Willow!
I just want to go home!
Aw, you didn't hurt the kid? Flutter Page remains in place, her eyes suddenly filled with tears. Tooth Fairy steps forward and pulls her into a hug. Aw, damn it.
I don't want you to follow me.
They look on as Willow shakily walks into a smog, each step grinding away a little more of her dignity. We're going to be doing one more, and to brunch, I believe. So this guy fill it up with the tangible things like warm hugs and heartfelt embraces. So this will be my last one for today. And yeah, I guess we're about to visit Willow again. Maybe.
The floor ritual is one of the most popular events of the Uluru Games. It has a bewitching style that generates a resonance between the dancer and audience. Charlotte was a genius. She was born for it. And God has sent her a coach covered in dark feathers. and skilled in ancient Celtic runes. Coach Raven taught her the primal witch dance that ignited a fire within her. At least, until that tragedy 10 years ago, which took her leg.
Okay, so this is just another flashback, and that's her with her prosthetic, I believe. I'm not sure what went wrong.
Coach Raven had given her a pocket of flower seeds as a reward for all her diligent practicing. It said they were from the druids in the forests of Glastonbury. I guess she planted them around her house and got this garden. Now all these bizarre plants share the same strange air with their owner.
The plants in the mansion's garden are all drooping around toward the ground, or is it drooping toward the ground? Sorry. There is a new sense of wariness that wasn't present during Tooth Fairy's last visit. The woman by the door gently shakes her head as Flutterpage crawls around on her knees, searching for bugs among the foliage.
Thank you again for having me over. That's all I have to say about Charlotte.
Flutterpage's head pops out from between the plants.
What's a druid? Is it a place? Do they have canaries and snails there?
A druid isn't a place. It's a title. An identity.
Identity? Oh, like a name. Just like Flutterpage, right?
She quickly falls back into her own musings.
Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Bartley. I'm sorry to be taking you away from your practice.
Yes, you should be. I don't much enjoy being bothered by stuffed-up bureaucrats.
The accomplished floor ritualist has never been one to hold back her words.
But if you ask me...
Caroline glances once more at the narrow window of the old Victorian house. It's tightly shut. Oh god.
I will tell you that it isn't Charlotte that's summoning the Black Fog.
I gotta figured and assumed that.
I stand by that. I swear it on all my honor as an Uluru competitor. We're witches, but not in the traditional sense. We practice witchcraft to win medals instead of summoning devils.
We trust you at your word. It seems like that concludes our investigation into this fog hag. Thanks again, Miss Bartley.
Miss Tooth Fairy, if you do want to thank me, mind doing me a favor?
Tooth Fairy nods, but Caroline seems to have an unusual hesitation as she deliberates over her choice of words. In the end, she yields.
Please do something. Anything to bring her out of this hole she's dug for herself. Whatever you do. Break down her door, drag her out by her hair, even blow up that old mansion.
I mean, that is an extremely tall order, but do what we can.
Just don't let her hide in her stupid house. She'll let you inside now. There's no longer any power preventing you. I can sense it.
You know this place well. Have you visited her here before?
Caroline bites her lip, holding back the words on the tip of her tongue. Then she walks away.
I think Miss Bartley wants to come in with us.
Maybe so, but she's made her choice. She doesn't want to join us inside.
Tooth Fairy shakes the jar in her hand, not containing her usual tooth fairies, but filled with a collection of lanolin snails.
Let's go, Flutterpage. We still have work to do.
Whatever you say, Miss Witch Doctor.
The two of them step cautiously into the garden, the soil compacting under their feet. There is nothing left to obstruct their path. They step around a few threatening-looking plants as they take the winding road to the creaky oak door. Tooth Fairy goes to knock, but the door swings open the moment her knuckle hits the surface.
The door isn't locked. Let's get inside.
It's never locked? Willow sits at the table prepared for one, surrounded by an exorbitant amount of half-finished food. Aside from the full English she's currently tucking into, there's a Scotch egg and a half-eaten cod and chips, and a steamy apple crumble.
Sorry to interrupt.
Willow casts aside basic manners, neglecting to invite her guests to sit, and cuts herself another piece of sausage. Is that really necessary to make the swallowing noise?
Diets high in sugar and fatty oils may well lead to stomach illness, Miss O'Hagan.
She continues to eat her lavish brunch.
I choose the name Tooth Fairy instead of my real name, Campbell. But did you choose to let people call you Willow?
Okay, I keep forgetting that her name is Campbell. Sounds like a pharmacy that I used to go to, but still.
Or do you prefer the name Charlotte O'Hagan? That is the name of an excellent Uluru floor ritualist.
The crash of silverware interrupts her once more. Then Willow sweeps her arm across the table. The silver dishes clatter loudly as they fly to the floor.
Tooth Fairy. Some kind of doctor, right? I think your prescription is a little fuzzy. I'm no athlete. I've only got one leg. This Charlotte has nothing to do with Willow, just like I've nothing to do with the Uluru Games.
So far as I know, the Uluru Games do not exclude people with disabilities from full participation.
To be sure, but only if you enjoy parading yourself around for embarrassment. I think I'll pass, thanks.
No one should feel embarrassed by competing, least of all the competitors challenging themselves. That is the point of the Uluru spirit.
Willow rises with great effort, furiously stamping the floor with her prosthesis in the process.
Excuse me? I don't remember having asked you for a running commentary.
I'm sure you already know the answer in your heart. You have wisdom and experience.
Who even invited you here? It's time you leave.
I'm here representing our mutual friend, Flutterpage.
At the mention of this name, Willow pauses and takes a step back.
What for?
I understand that usually the only one welcome inside is Flutterpage, but I'm here to apologize on her behalf.
Apologize?
She places a small jar of snails on the table.
What's this?
An apology gift. She ran off a little before sunrise to collect these for you. She collects these arcane creatures you use to make the lubricant for your prosthesis, right? But she's afraid that you'll get angry at her again, so she asked me to give it to you.
Oh, I see. Now I'm the hateful, angry, wicked witch.
No, you're not. The things that these people say about you, they aren't true. As I mentioned, Flutterpage wanted to apologize because, quote, she didn't want to break your heart.
Aww. What a good child.
Miss Bartley has told her many things about you. She never knew you're such an outstanding competitor.
Caroline?
Tooth Fairy slowly pushes the jar of snails closer to her.
So, will you accept her gift?
Willow delicately places her fingertips on the jar, neither pushing it away nor taking it.
Ugh, nosy little brat. Where is she now? In the temporary hospital?
You want to see her?
The witch's features twist like a knot.
Don't push me!
She pulls the snail jar closer to her.
All right, it's my own fault. I shouldn't have treated her that way. That what you wanted to hear, is it? Fine then. You'll have what you want. Just take me to her.
She's waiting by the door.
What?
Flutterpage cautiously peeks out from the edge of the doorframe, her wide eyes scanning the room for any sign of danger.
Miss Willow.
At this point, there is no turning back.
Fine. Come on in then.
Oh, don't cry. You're making me cry. Unable to deal with her emotions, tears well up in Flutterpage's eyes once again.
Stop your crying. Listen, I shouldn't have treated you so wickedly the last time. And the time before that.
Tooth Fairy gives a silent nod.
Now would you stop that crying? At least not here in my...
Without a moment's hesitation, Flutterpage charges toward her. Willow hands open and close like a spider raising its front legs in fear. She's not sure whether she can catch this chaotic bundle of rags.
Oi.
She manages to catch her, only to be knocked back to the floor.
I'm sorry. I'm really very sorry.
Oh no.
I swear I won't break into your house no more. I'll only come in when you let me.
Oh, poor little bundle.
I'll do anything you ask. Say anything you need me to say, miss.
She unconsciously looks to Tooth Fairy, only to see that her full attention is directed at the Uluru floor ritual painting on the wall. Willow gently taps the back of Flutterpage's neck through several layers of old clothing.
So, could I still come around again sometime?
Willow presses her hand to the girl's mouth, stifling her sobs.
Stop your crying first, lass.
Okay, I'll stop crying.
With a soft push, Flutterpage drifts into the air like a sheet caught in the wind. Even with the removal of Flutterpage's weight, Willow is left on the floor, unable to get up.
Can I help you?
Yes, let the child help you. Flutterpage moves closer, reaching out both hands in line with Willow's. She takes the offered hands and rises steadily, the sudden gust of wind helping her to find her balance.
Enough. Enough. I've had too much of this for one day. Would you mind if I politely asked you to leave? You do have a black fog to chase after all, don't you? Just so you know. It truly has nothing to do with me.
Well, that's not according to everybody in the town.
Miss O'Hagan.
Call me Willow, child. What else do you want to say?
Would you let the food stay in your tummy for a bit longer? Eat a little more. I don't want you to be so skinny.
Oh, the child is concerned for you, Willow. Oh, okay. She just wants to be your friend. Maybe. Willow pries Flutterpage's arm from around her waist, gently pushing her back.
All right, now leave me be, please.
Embarrassing. Tooth Fairy takes Flutterpage's hand, and as they leave the room, the old house sinks back into silence. There is no sound save for the heavy ticking of the grandfather clock.
She's seen too much of this embarrassing side of me.
An embarrassing thing that I have to deal with is someone talking loudly outside my room. Although I do need soundproofing, it's not going to shut her up. Alright, let me read this real quick. And life's essentials. So I think it's just recipes. So snail mucus, scrat, acacia sap, swiftlet saliva, vulture feather powder. I guess this is what makes the lubricant by using the snails, which explains why she's asking making snails. Sleeping drought? I guess she doesn't get much sleep. And I think she's always in pain with her prosthesis, maybe. So I'm going to call this off for today, for now. And we will continue. I will continue in the next video with 8 of Rainy Fish. So thank you all for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give this video a like or dislike. And my 2-hour thing is almost up. That's what I always have to say before ending the video. Yeah, this was very interesting here, going to London and seeing the smog days, where I guess factories and industry takes over and smog been developed, poison, air pollution, and now with this unique black fog that gives people tuberculosis with a certain variant of extreme chest pains. It's gonna be a hell of a while before we can figure this out. We may know that Willow is not the one responsible, but you can't really dispel the rumors circling around her. And I guess her post-traumatic experience with the tragedy that took her leg seems to be really affecting her a lot. From having her to stay in her, being a recluse in her own home, to trying to recreate her floor ritual, but always messing up because she's always gonna blame that blasted leg of hers. And you get to see the cuteness side of Flutter Page, which makes me want to pull, but I'm sorry, I will have to stick with my beliefs and just say, if I pull someone I like, I'll keep it. Anyway, yeah, that's all I really have to say for now. So until next time, in The Raining Fish, it looks like we're gonna go back with Brimley, and I'm pretty sure that he might be a free character. Maybe, not too sure, but I mean, hey, why not? So I'm just glad that it's in Insight 1. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the new video. So peace out, and have an awesome week.